Conspiracy Theory, starring Donald Von Griffin, Kieran Torres, Leslie Denneberger, Lloyd Montgomery, and me, the GM, Brandon Blackmore. Tonight's game brought to you by, once again, Sam Adams Oktoberfest beer. Yay! Because I still have several cases of it. When we last left our brave adventurers, our explorers of the strange and mysterious, you were in, or just outside, Silverton, Colorado, where you found and then buried. I will share a photo with you of the remains of the Gold King mine, which is actually a silver mine. So it looks a little something like that. That's what's left.
Is that what we left of it?
That is what's left of it. Somewhere underneath all that are about 24 military type trucks and a good dozen infected Orochi soldiers, and somewhere under there, possibly a mile or two underground, are a dozen or two ciphermen. So there you go. Congratulations. And there, as a side note, about 3 weeks later, the EPA announces that they had successfully sealed the Gold King mine, stopping the toxic leak which had been poisoning the water supply since 2015. So, hooray for the EPA, getting that done.
Yeah. And we don't even get credit.
I don't like we want credit. Mm-hmm.
Did you want credit? Really?
Well,
No, I don't think we need credit. If we took credit for it, Orochi Group would be even madder at us.
Okay, so later on, a couple of weeks down the road, I'll hack the EPA's website, and I'll add all of the helmet cam footage that I hacked while the attack was going on, and add it to the website.
Carefully leaving out any of the footage that shows you guys, right?
Well, yes, of course.
So it's basically as Orochi soldiers are chasing trucks that are running over the fences and then running from trucks that are chasing them. It's a fiasco.
Yeah, exactly. I will provide absolutely no explanation for any of this video footage. I just want to have the video footage up.
About a half hour later, the EPA website is brought down by hackers, and they're working on it.
Bastards.
Yeah. Oh, but that's a couple of weeks down the road. For right now, you are just outside Silverton, and the sun, there's a gorgeous sunrise on the way. Wait, I think it's my cat. Hey, Vixen, come on. In or out? In or out? Oh, come on. Seriously? Yeah, I know.
yeah, seriously.
Fucking cat.
Sure, you have to say that every evening when the cat asks to be let on the balcony.
What was I saying? I was in the middle of saying something.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
Sunrise.
Oh, the sunrise. It's gorgeous. It's like streaks of gold and red and orange and fading into like blues and purples, and it's going to be a beautiful sunrise. And you've been up all night, and you're about an hour west of Silverton, Colorado. So, what are you gonna do?
I say we head in and crash. Take a $1 sleep plan.
Yeah.
Probably a party.
I think a hotel sounds like a real good plan right now.
I agree. Something ridiculously overpriced and expensive.
Well, you all seem in agreement. So you find...
yeah, sounds good to me.
Well, ridiculously expensive in Silverton is probably not on the menu, but...
Oh, no. Not Silverton, like a civilized town.
Oh, so you could just keep...
Ideally, someplace close to the gate.
Well, that's Pueblo. You can find a reasonably expensive hotel in Pueblo, but it's hours from here.
Mm.
Yeah, no, Silverton. Do you want turn of the century, mid 18th century?
What are you looking for? A bed and breakfast or
Um,
something?
I'm looking at the hotels in Silverton. You got Teller House and Inn of the Rockies.
Alrighty. Well, then I guess I was mistaken. You do find an expensive hotel.
Inn of the Rockies,
Kind of
because
a
that's the most expensive one.
like a historic resort kind of hotel.
Yeah,
Great.
turn of the
You,
century bed and breakfast, hot tub, full breakfast in the morning.
you check
Sure
in.
beats
They
the RV
want a
resort.
credit card to put on the room in case you take something from the minibar. And I'm thinking you probably just keep flashing stacks of money at them until they stop asking questions. Is that about
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You check in. As you guys are, and you have no luggage, right?
I've got
So you
some.
just you do. Oh, that's what you got your backpack and stuff. Well, as you check into your rooms, as you are in the elevator going up to your rooms, sorry, Tom Morgan's phone goes cha-ching.
Okay, check and see what's the latest.
$812,000 has been deposited to your account, and is currently your automated scripts are running it through your randomly rotating other randomly created and then destroyed bank accounts around the world, scattering it to the winds. But here's the funny thing. You've got, let's say, a dozen or two um, banking institutions in various countries where you have this stuff set up to get created and shut down. Like four of them, when your script runs, there's error. It's like can't create account, can't create account, and like that.
Oh, okay. I'll
The
have
rest
to
works
just
fine.
looking around and find out why it's doing.
It says to call this number. Each of them basically say to call a number. There's just been a minor problem with your account. We need to verify your identity.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and shut those accounts down.
The rest of the money goes where you want it to.
Okay. I realized that there was an inevitable time limit on this scam anyway, so the mere fact that they caught on within a couple of months is actually longer than I was expecting it to last. So
And it seems like you're only catching on to bank accounts, not actually shutting down the money part.
So you're still skimming the money. You're just closing off the accounts that have been detected. Is that what you're doing?
that have been caught. Yes.
Okay. Well, you got at least another week to go.
Okay, good.
So you guys all check in. You get a good night's sleep. You get up the next day. It's a beautiful day in Silverton. It's gorgeous. What do you do?
Take a shower.
No kidding.
That's probably a good idea.
Clean up, and head down, and I guess figure out where we're gonna go next. Don't want to stay in the area.
Yeah. All right, guys. What are we doing for our next caper?
Well, I mean, we never did solve that problem in Virginia. We had to go run off and get the Illuminati to stop bugging us.
I don't think we're going to solve that problem. That was simply thrown at us to see what was going on.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you have any Illuminati contacts in California?
all I got's Eddie.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's Eddie was your point of contact. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, screwing with him is pointless. He's already pretty screwed up to begin with.
Now, if you want a couple of street gangs in LA, I could scare up one or two of those.
No,
They
no.
might even work together if I paid them right.
I was just trying to think of who we could go up against next.
You need sorting out. Other than the Illuminati.
Well, so far they seem to be the major target. The Orochi group's another major player, but they seem to be
Very.
they're just not really all that competent, in my opinion. And it's just too easy to go after them. Who else could we go after? I suppose we could try shutting down the National Defense Directorate. They've upset us.
Yeah, that guy was annoying.
All right, Brandon, let's see what I can find out about the National Defense Directorate.
Wow.
Although, if I might make a point, perhaps it would behoove us to not so much go after people as go after people for other people.
Pays better.
You see the distinct difference there.
Just out of curiosity, but what do we need money for?
No, it's not about money.
Oh, okay.
Why? We're in Silverton. Why? Because the guy who knows how to reload our rifles suggested we look at it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Kind of a doing a favor for a friend kind of thing. I can see that.
This is how you. I mean, money is money, but favors is favors.
Yep. All right. Who else do we want owing us a favor?
Well, I mean, a little bit of everybody's always good. We
So
just
let's
don't
see.
want to too well known that we're the pain in the asses who keeps going after people.
Well, somewhere I'd like us to be a pain in the
'Cause,
ass.
like-
I've never sold out my team in MI5.
Yep. One of these days, yeah, we're gonna have to go back to London.
Yeah.
So you went to
People
bed
just don't
around 8 in the
know how
morning.
modern information age works, do you?
So 8.
Somewhere out there, the data that we need to find out who sold out your team is there. All I have to do is locate it.
We're going to say it's around 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess when we believe in sleeping in, we believe in sleeping in.
We didn't actually go to bed till like 8 in the morning. So
That's
Yeah.
true.
We had breakfast then, Dad.
So where are you now? Where are you having this conversation?
Probably in the car as we're cruising west.
Okay.
Because
Who
people
would notice
said west.
this?
And
Who's driving? Because it won't be the person who's driving.
Actually, at this time of day, west is driving into the sun. Do we want to be driving west?
You're driving.
Like-
Choose.
Yeah, I thought we probably should head back.
North.
We probably.
If you're going back to Pueblo, that's northeast, I think.
Yeah,
Well, let's
'cause,
just
like,
say,
you know, that's where
let's just say Pueblo's northeast.
Okay.
Okay, we go back to Pueblo. Well, we're driving back to Pueblo to turn in our rental car and take the portal home.
Yeah.
Wherever home. Well, take portal to our next stop.
We have to decide what our next stop's going to be before we start running around in the portal.
That's what we're discussing. We're
That's,
plenty of time.
that's what the drive's for.
Yeah.
Have you come to a decision before you hit Pueblo?
I've got two possible decisions or two possible ways we could go with here. If you're interested in finding out who sold out your team, then I can certainly do some research on that. But really, all I need is a decent computer backbone and network to find that. We don't have to go to London to track that down initially, at least not until we get some leads. Or
Names, then we can go to London.
exactly. Or I could start digging around in the information on the National Defense Directorate and see what they're up to.
Well,
We
For either
need to go to set up and do this.
Access to computer equipment.
Speaking of
I
that,
mean, you know, if
Hang
you
one second. When he says access to computer equipment, you remember a message that you dreamed last night. And I'll plug them in one by one. Okay. I cannot see them all at one time. Oh, there we go.
we all experience this.
Mhm. But you didn't
or
remember it.
experiencing this.
You didn't remember it until he mentioned getting access to computer equipment, and then it like reminded you, oh yeah, I dreamed something.
Oh yeah. Do we need access to computer equipment if we're on the network?
It's a different network. But anyway. Annoying.
Or was that just me? Come on, guys. Was your network cable unplugged or not?
Does Max appear in all of this too? Because isn't she the one that was mentioned by our friend Cowboy?
Cowboy mentioned Max. You have not heard anyone else mention Max.
Yeah, I mean, we could contact Max, but it seems a little soon.
Actually,
little
he did not give you a way
inelegant.
to contact Max. He said you'd pass on your info to her.
Oh, okay.
Although, come to think of it, this is a convenient time. John Morgan,
Yep.
whatever number or contact info you gave Cowboy, that someone is trying to contact you via that. They're actually,
Oh.
is it a phone or what?
It'd probably be an email address.
Okay. There's an executable Unix file attachment connected to a blank email. And the headers are such that it would be hard to track through normal, like Wireshark type stuff. You'd actually need to be looking for the packets. It's not hidden exactly, it's more obscured.
Okay. All right, then I will check it out.
If you look at the executable and run some like debug stuff on it with it not connected to anything, it appears to want to phone home to somewhere else.
Okay, follow it.
Make some kind of roll, because it's sophisticated.
It's weirdly protected.
It's sophisticated.
Let's see. Rolled an 8. I've got a 3 on the skill for hacking, so
I think that's good.
that'd be 11.
Actually, damn it. You trace it. It hops and hops and hops, and it goes into a VPN and triggers a signal on a VPN, and that's where you lose it.
Okay.
And you're running this on what?
Well, if we're in the car, I'm probably running it on a laptop.
Okay. I get to make a roll. Yay. I'm assuming you've got like all kinds of firewalls and fancy schmutz on your laptop, right?
Yes, I
Like
do.
the whole thing is running in a virtual machine that's behind a firewall that's on a VPN, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I rolled actually quite
Yeah,
well.
I was gonna say. I also assumed that he was using the hex editor to find the trace out of the program without actually running the program.
Well, I'm assuming he did that back when he was sandboxing it and seeing what it did. But he said he wanted to run it and see what it did. So.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So you run your thing and you lose the track of it, and then a couple seconds later, the camera on your laptop comes on, and then the
Presuming
LEDs.
that
What?
Presuming he doesn't have a piece of tape over it.
Well, if he does, he does. But it comes on in any case. And then the LEDs across the front that tell you that the hard drive is running or that the numlock is on, those there's like a string of like 5 of them. They start getting really bright. And it takes a few seconds, so if there's something weird you want to do, you tell me.
Yes, activate an application that backtraces whatever's going on and log all of the everything that's happening on the machine.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what's going on.
Do you have electrical tape over your camera?
No, I do not. On the laptop, it wouldn't occur to him because the camera is probably not even activated.
Wow. All right. Funky. Well, a little LED comes on next to it when it comes on. I'm going to say. So here's what happens. The LEDs across the front of the laptop glow really, really bright, like brighter than they're really supposed to, and they start firing light into, like visibly into the air in front of the laptop. And you see this. That, like, shows up in the air about, it's like halfway between you and your laptop. So I guess since the laptop's in your lap and you're in a car, she's like, if she were a human being, she'd be in your personal space, like 10 inches away from your nose.
Okay.
So there's that.
I'll say something along the lines of, "Well, aren't you adorable?"
She like recoils a bit. It's like, whoa, too close. Commander Drunkbat, I assume.
Among others.
And she like looks over at. Are you in the back seat, front seat? Where is everybody in the car? So I just have a image.
I'm assuming Donald's driving, and that Leslie's character would be in the front seat too. So.
Okay, so you and Charlotte are in the back seat. That's fine. So she looks over at Charlotte, and she says, "Charlotte Day."
That's her.
Yep.
Great. I'm Max. Normally, there's a whole spiel you would get now, but time is kind of pressing, so we're going to have to leave the formal introductions to later.
There's probably heard it anyways. We've probably heard something similar anyways.
Maybe. So here's the deal. 3 hours ago, the phone lines went out in a cascade pattern from an address in downtown Denver. And 10 minutes later, the power went out on the street in more or less the same pattern. 30 minutes after that, the locals began attacking each other on the same outward pattern. When the police were called, everyone still standing started to attack them. 3 died, and the one who survived joined the crowd. So, you are the closest people, and it's on you if you want to take the job. Here's how this works. If you don't want to take the job, you won't hear from me again. If you do, then you're on the network, and you'll get paid. The pay varies from good to exceptional, depending on what we think it's worth. And you can say no, and if you say no, we'll never call you again. That's how it works. So, are you up for it?
I take it you want us to stop whatever is causing the riot?
Yes.
From the front seat. You mean zombie outbreak? I'm sorry, I have to assume we're walking into
zombies.
Raccoon City here.
Yeah. Yay, another round of zombies.
Zombies are real.
Yeah, and neither are witches.
Zombie outbreaks could be fun. Yeah.
Potato, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, you know.
I'm
going to call it a duck.
Isn't that stuff we were looking into before Echo 2112? Doesn't that cause this sort of effect?
Well, we should go and find out and see if I can differentiate.
What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, okay, we'll take a look.
Of course.
Horrible, agonizing death. That would be the worst. I'm game.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm game.
Sounds good.
Great. If I have an update, I'll contact you. Welcome to the network.
Cheers.
All right. Hey, we got a destination.
Somebody have a small piece of electrical tape?
You don't need more than that. I think you need to color for those LEDs now too.
That's a basic hack in every record.
Thumb works just fine.
And then you can't close the laptop. let's see what we got in the med case. Okay, will some medical tape work?
Yeah, that's fine.
There you
I guess we head to Denver then.
go.
Yep.
Okay, you get to Denver.
Denver we go.
We drop off the car, and then we jump to Denver.
Where was this? Colfax?
What?
Colfax Avenue, Denver.
Yeah, where's the door? Where's the gateway? Where's the door in Denver?
Oh, I was gonna say, where was it? Wasn't this outbreak in Denver?
Yes.
Yeah, she told us to go to Denver, so I figured we were dropping off the car in a place with the portal. We just go to Denver in a portal, in a doorway.
Yeah, if there's a portal to Denver, I guess so.
Oh, why wouldn't there be a doorway in Denver? Come on,
Good
there's
point.
a doorway in a little town in Virginia. Well,
Oddly
where would that
enough, there is not a portal in Denver. The closest one's Pueblo.
We just rent this car for a little while.
It's about a 2-hour
Closest one-
drive. It's about a 2-hour drive from Pueblo to Denver.
I was gonna say, not even one in Boulder. Man, if I was going to have an extra dimensional entity, I would put it in Boulder. No
Yeah.
one would notice.
Oh,
Truly.
actually, no, that's actually a good point. Yes, there's one in Boulder, which is about a 15-20 minute drive.
There you go.
Yeah, we'd have to go to Boulder in the thing and rent a car. You know what? It'd probably just take as long to drive there.
Mm-hmm. But I'm game for whatever way you think it's best.
I'll let you make that decision, Mark, be the driver.
Yep.
Yeah, besides, we can drop this car off any rent-a-center that's like rent-a-center anywhere.
Yeah, it's just straight up the highway. Like I say, by the time we took a bus across Boulder to the car rental place, rented a car, drove down there, we'd almost be there if we just kept driving.
Okay, let's do that then.
Let's keep driving.
Okay. So what area of Denver was this in?
If she didn't say, we'll be able to find out easily enough. Just gotta,
Start doing some
Yeah,
news for the Denver area.
It's
I'm guessing Colfax in Colorado.
I'll show you a
Because
picture. 'Cause I
it's
don't-
near the park, and there's a whole bunch of nightclubs in that area.
Okay.
Oh, that's one.
Do you see over on the left
from a
here?
helicopter.
Do you see over there on the left here? There's
Uh-huh.
a cluster of buildings. There's like a kind of roundish
Yeah, Arvada.
one that's a dozen stories tall, and there's a bunch of other ones right there around there. Yeah, that area.
Okay.
Okay, that's out. God, is that Arvada or Lakewood? It's hard to tell from this angle. I'm
don't
used
know.
to seeing the city from the other side.
I don't know. I don't know. So
Um,
as you get closer to Denver,
I'm gonna say that's I'm gonna say that's the Arvada. That's because that's this side of Mile High. So I'm gonna say that's like Edgewood
okay.
area.
Already?
Where,
Sorry, I used to live there. I didn't even need Google Maps for most of that.
Okay. Let's see. What was I looking for? Anyway, as you get closer, John Morgan gets a couple of very terse email messages. Actually, they're not even email messages. They're the same protocol that IRC uses. They're just really terse messages that have longitude and latitude.
oh, okay. Fire up a GPS program and find out where it is.
Okay.
Inform the driver.
There is an attachment. Can you send an attachment in IRC? You can, right? I'm going to say you can. There's an attachment that is a fairly large JPEG.
Actually, that might be the Hilton.
Okay.
It's a satellite image, and the timestamp is about 6 minutes ago, and it's zoomed way in, and it's a large crowd of people building something in the street.
Do you guys save any explosives from the killer black stuff?
No.
Well, are we in
Different
a
kind of zombie apocalypse.
state where we could pick up?
Parking lot. Not a street. Parking lot. They're building something in a parking
Brandon,
lot.
I find it disturbing that in your games, it always seems to devolve to the player characters needing more and more high explosives.
It's not the way I planned it. It's not my fault you want to solve every problem with explosives.
And yet it always seems like the easiest way to solve our problem is to explode it.
Well,
Or burn it down.
they're blowing things up does have a certain simple appeal, I guess. Anyway.
True. Simple, direct, to the point.
So
All right, see if there's CCTV footage of that area and see if I can get it.
Sure.
And I'm sure
The
somebody's
local-
bound to have
The local
news
TV
camera in
station,
that area.
actually, a couple of the local TV stations have crews on the scene, and they are reporting there's been a gas leak, so that the police have barricaded the area off and no one is allowed in.
and what's it look like in there? Is it a zombie apocalypse? I know Mark will be happy if it is.
Make a roll to see if you can find cameras actually inside.
Okay. Again, skill is 3. I rolled an 8, so 8, 9, 10, 11.
You
Start with the hotels.
you find the dash cam on a police car.
Oh, very good. Yes.
That is the police car, one of the police cars that went in to quell the riot. It shows people assembling some kind of antenna or tower kind of thing, and they're pulling cables, and there's a couple people with welders' masks on. They're welding, and the people who you can actually see, they're not like, but they are bleeding from the eyes. And you
sorry,
see dash
Mark,
cam.
it's not a zombie apocalypse. I'm thinking it's pod people.
Sounds like it. Looks
Let
like
me
it.
think. Do dash cams have audio? They do, don't they?
Some do, yeah.
I'm going to say this one does. So there is audio, if you want to listen to it.
Yeah, why not?
It is not a language. They are talking to each other from time to time. And like somebody will say something to somebody else and that person will leave. But it is not a language you've ever heard.
Sounds like they're mind controlled somewhere. Invaded. Pot people, yeah. That sounds right.
Is it a human language? Because if it is, I can understand it.
What is that exactly that you've got?
Supposedly. Okay. Where's my...
I'm looking for it. You got your character sheet here somewhere. There we go. Character sheet.
Or is it... Or... I mean, maybe it's not automatic. Where's my character?
Yeah, she speaks the language of ghosts. And that translates to
Yeah.
all languages.
You don't understand it. And it's not
Okay.
a language you've ever heard before.
Gotcha.
Actually, come to think of it, make a snarky hereditary witch roll. Roll d6 and add 4. You want to roll well.
Actually,
1d6?
2d6 plus 4.
It's not so much that it's an alien language, is that it's a non-human language.
All right. Roll 2d6 and add 4, you said? That'll make it a 9.
Okay. You almost understand it, and it starts making your head hurt, and you start thinking in a new way. And you're in the back seat next to John Morgan. John Morgan sees like a trickle of blood come from the corner of Charlotte's eye.
Better snap her out of it.
I'll reach into my bag. I will pull out a air horn and set it off.
Okay.
Ow! Warn me next time.
Sorry.
Okay, I think I've adjusted my audio so I'm not
So
like
so
way
he
louder than you
so
guys
so
now.
John stops Charlotte from bleeding from the eye and makes the rest of us bleed from the ear.
They
Here's-
can. They can. Yeah.
It was either that or I was going to pepper spray her, and that's got much more lasting effects.
All right.
Remind me not to ask you to be my medic.
Yeah.
No problem.
You are the single worst corpsman I have ever had.
So
I'm a big fan of the idea that you should do, if you need to do something fast, you should do anything rather than sit around and think about what you should do and make sure it's the right thing to do. So
yeah. So Charlotte, there's the language they're speaking is so perfect that you'd like to hear more, but you don't have to seek it out if you don't want to. But it feels like you want to hear more.
Do turn
You can
the
resist
audio
it.
off on
It's
that,
not mind
maybe.
control. But anyway.
Yeah, do turn the audio off on that, please.
all right,
Thank you.
it's okay. I don't think any of us are going to hear it for about the next couple of minutes, anyways.
Turn off your
Wonder why it didn't affect the rest of us.
Because you can't understand languages other than the ones you already know.
Possibly.
Okay, so it's sound-based that's causing this?
Language based, possibly. There is magic in words, at the very least.
Well, okay, I have something I think I know the answer to what I want to clarify.
What's that?
Banana.
Spooky Dr. McSpooky witchcraft stuff. Not normal to bleed from the eye, or sometimes normal to bleed from the eye.
Medically, no, not normal to bleed from the eye.
Not normal to bleed from the eye. Just wanted to make sure.
Magically,
With you?
depends on what you're doing.
With you, I can never tell. Maybe it wasn't the thing. Maybe it was
we
you.
should notice that all of the zombie pod people, whatever they are, they're bleeding from the eye.
They all look like Alice Cooper, basically.
Good point. If I might make a recommendation, please do not bleed from the eye.
Please do not turn the sound on because that could be a problem.
Second recommendation.
Earplugs.
Is there anything we can do to make people who bleed from the eye explode?
No.
Stick a piece of dynamite up their butt? I don't know.
You never know until you ask.
If this is a sound-based creation, the best thing we can do, and I'm guessing based on what they're building, they're intending to broadcast whatever they're trying to mind control everybody with. We might want to try to disrupt this sound-wise.
And if we're going to get anywhere near them, we're probably going to want to not be able to hear it.
Earplugs is a good plan.
Actually, here's something I'll throw out there. Due to Alan's weird history, because his job before his team got burned was essentially to respond to things kind of like this. So make a cynical military captain roll and tell me how good you get. I'll give you something simple for free, but if you roll well, I'll give you extra.
That cat camps outside my door. All right, let's see. My weird shit detector. My weird shit detector rolled 8. With a fierce werewolf of 4. That's what it falls under.
3. It's actually part of your military history,
Okay. Well, in that
So
case, it's plus 3.
right?
I
And the
rolled
total
plus
is what's total? Total?
11.
Oh, 11's fine.
Mhm.
Okay. Here This reminds you of something, a paper you read a couple of years ago. There are contingencies in case there is an invasive event. There are lots of different kinds of invasive events that could trigger this. And of course, this is UK, so the American protocols might be different. But somehow you don't think so. The contingencies for an invasive event like this is if it can't be stopped, after a certain period of time, the next step is to carpet bomb the area and kill everybody. So,
Denver. Okay, right.
burning out the infection is,
Yeah,
is how that goes.
I think it would be nice to, you know, act as some antibodies here.
I think we need to contain it no matter what. I'd rather not see Denver carpet bombed, but hey.
I'd rather not be in Denver when it gets carpet bombed.
When it gets carpet bombed, yeah, exactly. But if this is a sound-based thing, as you suspect it is, and it looks like it might be, their building looks like, is what they're building look like some kind of radio tower?
Yeah.
Sound might be the best way to defeat this. Something against what kind of sound drives them. And yes, we should destroy that tower, for sure.
Definitely.
So you get to Denver.
Yep.
And as you drive down the streets and roads toward where this event has happened, you start passing cars that are parked on the side of the road, and a news van parked on the side of the road, and a couple police cars. And there's a police barricade.
Well, we knew that.
Yes, you did. There it is. It's right there in front of you.
We're back.
Is she coming back?
I believe she said she would be right back.
Okay, we can wait. Do you have any questions so far?
Where was the epicenter of this event? Where did it start?
Because you've had time to, look at stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
The how would you know that? I'm trying to think how you would know that.
Well, Maxx indicated that it started with a series of events, and I was just trying, and that they spread out in a certain pattern. I was just trying to trace the pattern.
Okay. Do you want to ask for more information from Maxx?
If possible, yes.
All right.
Might be a good idea.
You reply to the IRC thing, and
I will update it, indicating that whatever it is, it's sonic based or sound based too. It appears to be some sort of memetic virus.
within seconds, you get another satellite image that has like a dot and a circle around that, like a wobbly circle, and a larger wobbly circle around that, and a wobbly circle around that. And in an attached metadata file, there are timestamps for each of the circles.
Okay.
But it definitely does have a specific point of origin.
Right. Track that on a map.
It's an apartment building. Like we're going to say one of those, the big tall one, like the 12-story building.
Okay.
And you can't tell what floor from a satellite picture, but
Now, question: is it within the police barricade, or can we access it?
oh, it's deep within the police barricade. Yes.
Okay. We do have to think of a way to get in, especially if we're going to bombard this tower with all kinds of fantastic noise that's anti whatever it is.
Check the audio signal and find out like what frequency range that the noise occurs on, and see if I can create a white noise generator that'll blanket that particular range of frequencies.
Well, it's human voice, so yeah, something in the human vocal range would do it.
Oh, that's getting really technical. I was just going to play Nickelback real loud.
Seriously.
Now you can play Nickelback really loud at this particular range of frequencies, and it'll work. Oh, by the way, I don't think we're getting our deposit back on this rental car because I'm stealing the speakers.
Yeah,
Oh, I was figuring
Okay.
I was figuring once we got inside the quarantine, we'd go by a car audio shop and get what we needed.
Oh,
Speaking of
you're
that,
saying this as I'm stripping the speakers out of a door. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
speaking of
Well,
that,
based on the fact that we're going to be running a police barricade, I don't think we're going to get our deposit back on this car.
Well, it's not like you used your real name when you rented it anyway.
Yeah,
speaking of the
exactly.
police barricade, you can see it from where you are. You are actually in the car still at this time with it
Right.
running. What are your plans?
That's the hard part. Coming up
So
Okay,
you
who
all
can
want me to run the barricade? I'll run the barricade, but that's causing
Um,
trouble.
Yes.
Okay, we need we need to procure a way before we run the barricade. How about procuring a method of actually blocking out the sound?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Within a range of certain frequencies, I've set up a set of speakers to generate white noise in that range of frequencies.
Oh, that's to protect you guys.
Yes.
How will you talk to each other?
Perhaps we can find a way to go through the white noise generator on ourselves. We
Yeah,
are human voice too. That's the problem. We'll have to write.
Actually-
Throw the mics into earbuds.
I was gonna say, you
John
guys don't have-
Morgan.
you guys don't have headphones and Bluetooth speakers?
Say one more time.
I said, what? You guys don't have headphones and Bluetooth speakers? Hang on,
Or we can.
I think I got a couple of spares.
But yes, but you're saying you're using a frequency that blocks out that'll blot out human voices, and we're gonna be using human voices in our Bluetooth.
Well, so here's the deal.
Right, but the Bluetooth is between you and the source of the white noise,
Yeah, that's true.
John
and so you'll get an override on the filter effect.
John Morgan,
Yes.
if you want to spend a weird point, you will have 4 sets of noise canceling headphones in your bag.
Okay. I'll pass them out.
He's like, it just so happens.
Hang on. Wait, I got one in my pocket.
So you can actually reprogram those to cancel the noise that you hear so that all you
Right.
can hear is
Are
what
each other's
other
voices.
people are saying into their mics.
Correct.
So essentially you have like headphones like mine with like the microphone, except
Yep.
they're noise canceling headphones, and you wire it up to protect you guys from hearing the scary noise.
Oh, I figured
Language.
we'd just run a polarized filter effect to let our stuff pass through and theirs not.
However it works, it's a science thing.
I was going to say, Brandon the Game Master has just given us a solution to the problem that Brandon the Game Master has placed in front of us. I
Yeah,
think
let's
that's-
do this.
Well, no, you actually thought of the idea. You were pulling speakers out and Bluetooth stuff. I was just making it more convenient by having the built-in having headphones you could build it into.
Correct.
That's
Okay.
all I'm saying. Cool. So yeah, police up there, barricade. You in the car. You've popped the covers off of the noise canceling headphones and made your modifications, and seem to work.
Right? Can somebody else get us past the police barricade, or am I going to have to sneak past?
I mean, I can get us past, but they'll be alerted to it.
I wonder if I can make an optical illusion.
I'm gonna have somebody roll some.
Oh, wait. I got an idea.
Okay, what's your idea?
Doc, do you still have your badge?
You mean my med badge? My
The police credentials.
Wait a minute. I didn't have a badge with police credentials.
You're a coroner.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
of
right.
course you do.
Yeah, of course I do. Hey, yeah.
I mean, you're technically a contractor, so it's like a contractor badge. It's got a different stripe at the bottom, but whatever.
Okay, so the idea is I
It's-
roll
it's-
up in a hurry, come to a sudden stop, flash your ID at them, go, CDC, we're going through, and then I go through.
Yeah. Okay, here. Take it to the back.
I
There
think
you
that's
go.
a 25% chance of working.
Like I said, we won't get the deposit.
The trick is they've got to stop and check before they. Well, okay, one of them might chase, but somebody's got to stop and check.
Yeah.
and then I just lose that guy.
You're a good enough driver to do that?
It's what I do.
Okay, you roll up to the barricade. There are police standing in front of you, going like this. And one stays in the front of you. The other one walks around to the driver's side door, knocks on the glass.
No, window's already half down at that point, and I've got her ID between my face and the window, and I shout, "CDC coming through," and I start rolling forward.
The window's already down, you say?
Half down.
Half down. He goes, "Which one of you's Dr. Day?" He's okay. Let him in. And he just stands up, and the other guy turns around, picks up the barricade, moves it out of the way.
Okay, we're through. I'm still acting like I'm in a big hurry.
And
okay, I didn't think that was going to work. Whatever you did was a lot more impressive than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just half-assed in that you were going to flash a badge that's got somebody else's picture on it and try and bullshit your way through. Oh, that worked really well. I'm impressed.
Hey, it just happened to have somebody's picture who is in the car. What a concept.
He actually didn't really look at the badge at all.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Oh, they were waiting for us, weren't they?
It appears so.
It seems like Maxx is more competent than the rest of the people we've met.
So, as you drive through, are you still like, or are you going more cautious?
No, we get a couple of blocks away and calm down and find ourselves someplace to stock up on the technology we need to kill these people.
Let's see. Do you hit that?
Because I'm thinking if we literally plaster the car with speakers, throw the magnets on the body of the car. Throw the magnets of the speaker on the body of the car, surround the car with speakers. Then we can blast these disrupting noises out at them.
I am curious to see if it has any effect on them. Yeah.
As you get closer to the epicenter, which I think is where you're actually heading.
You're originally going to go to the epicenter, though. I think the apartment building.
Did you want to stop at a car stereo installation place and pick up a bunch of speakers on the way?
Yeah.
I can't see how that's a bad idea. Yeah.
Not a problem. You pull up at, Denver Auto Sound and load up the back of the minivan with 24
amps and speakers.
Okay. You're not sure that John is not sure that the alternator on this car can actually power this many amps and speakers, but still, you get some double-aught
capacitors and some car batteries.
You get some size 0 spools of amp wire and so forth, which the auto place has. And
700 cold cranking amps of battery makes a heck of a capacitor.
So there you go. And then as you cruise closer, they are apparently building the antenna in a parking lot across the street from the apartment building where the epicenter is.
Okay.
The source of the original phenomenon. Do they notice you?
Okay.
Let's find out. Do people notice that?
What we're going to try and do is find a low concentration to drive by blasting our noise and see if it works.
You do see isolated clumps of people who are wandering around, like picking up pieces of metal or spools of wire or things of that nature. As a matter of fact, the auto store that you go into to get the speakers and stuff has already been broken into. There's nobody in there when you get there, but it's already been broken into and lots of wire has already been taken. There's still enough left for your purposes, but clearly it has been ransacked to some degree already.
So what do you guys think? We drive by a group of them blasting our knockout noise and see if it knocks them out.
Correct.
Good idea. We test first before we go into the fray.
Yeah.
Test our gear, our personal gear as well at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's give that a try. So Nickelback playing on the Hurt Them frequencies.
Which are not too dissimilar from.
Regular Nickelback. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody make a roll.
Sounds disturbingly like Nickelback.
It's your idea, Donald. You make the roll. Or your idea to do Nickelback anyway.
I was just thinking of the most horrible thing I could possibly put on the sound.
Well, you make the roll. Go for it. Let's see.
5 plus, what skill would that be?
But everything's appropriate.
I rolled a 5 on 2 dice.
Okay,
high school
you
teacher?
crank up the
5, 6, 7, 8.
your this is so loud that you can actually feel it. But the noise canceling headphones do a lot to keep it from deafening you, and you can talk to each other just fine. There are 3 people going down the sidewalk back toward the auto parts store, and as you come the other way, they like all as one. They notice you, and then you blast this loud noise, and they all like cover their ears, and then look around and start picking up objects off the ground. A stick, a planter, some other object you'd find sitting on the street somewhere.
Attack somebody with, as in riot.
And they basically all just pick the things up and they walk toward you like in formation, and like pick up their stuff and throw it at you.
Okay, we're driving away.
That didn't work.
Soon as it looks like they're going to heave the stuff, we are pulling off.
Stuff hits the car. No
Yeah.
big deal. Incidental damage.
All right, well, we figured out how to piss them off.
That's about it.
Whatever's generating this noise has to be coming from somewhere. So let's see if we can.
Oh,
Got a complex.
There's-
I've even got a parabolic microphone.
wait. I might have given you a mistaken impression. When they talk to each other, it is this language that none of you know. But there's not like a
Right.
noise being broadcast or anything.
Oh, okay.
Not that you hear.
So the mind control is operating on some other different level.
Although I guess
Charlotte,
that was a good hypothesis. But once you actually get into town, you learn that there's not like an audible signal being broadcast, so to speak. It's what affected Charlotte was the sound of them talking.
Okay.
As long as we don't hear them talk, we're fine. We're fine.
All right, Charlotte, can you use your abilities to figure out what's causing these people to act in the way that they are acting then?
Let's see if I can see if sensors.
Sorry about that.
Yep. Since we're near people now and I can actually see them. Yes. Prepare to blast me again. That's if need be. I'm gonna see if I can see or sense something. Connecting them or in the air. Something would be causing them to. That obviously it's not dissipating.
All right.
You're kidding me.
Control.
Hey guys.
Oh, wow. Okay. Charlotte reaches out magically. She's trying to make a contact with them, and her eyes like pop open and like just start bleeding.
Blast her again.
Yeah, blast her ears or something.
Make another roll, Charlotte.
I rolled an 8 plus on the dice plus whatever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's plenty. You like blast her, and because it's just started, you can still like pull yourself back from it. Like when you contact their minds, like to see what's going on with them, they don't think like they're still human. They're still themselves in the sense of that they remember everything, that's ever happened to them. They're not infected in the sense that the people at the mine were, but the way they think has been profoundly altered by learning a new language.
Ooh, oh.
The sound is it is sort of the problem.
It's
Kind of.
well, I'll explain why I reacted to them. it's the language they've learned. The language is the attacker, not anything else. I
Then
don't
we
know.
have to help them. Then somehow they have to be made to unlearn the language.
Mm.
So Nickelback is a bunch of insults to them?
It's just loud, annoying music.
Well, it does prevent them from talking to each other.
Oh yeah.
What are you? About that time, large numbers of the people who are working, and it's eerie the way they're working. It's like they actually talk to each other very, very little.
Mhm.
And mostly they just kind of move in patterns, kind of like flocks of birds move in patterns, and are building this thing. And then they kind of like divert off apart, who turn, and some pick up objects or tools, and a couple have rifles, and there's a guy who's dressed as a police officer, and he's got a gun, and there's a guy with a shotgun, and they start coming toward you guys.
We better drive.
I think we've been made, man.
Yeah, drive. I am
Where to?
definitely driving here.
Somehow they need to be made to unlearn the language, if that's possible.
Where you going?
Anywhere where
Oh, I'm just losing them.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a bullet.
A couple of blocks away around the other side of this apartment building.
Yeah, I'm losing them.
Make your driving like a madman roll.
Meanwhile, I'll update
Ooh.
Max on what's going on.
Okay, yeah.
And what our theory is, the fact that these people have been infected by essentially a memetic virus.
It's not boxcars, but it is an 11 on the dice.
Wow.
So +3 makes it a 14 for losing a tail.
That is spectacular.
I like drive around the side of a truck, and they lose me.
So how do you unlearn a language?
Have your head explode.
John Morgan sends an update back to Maxx, and within seconds you get a message back. It says 7 minutes maximum.
Oh boy, that's not good.
So the question is not how do you unlearn a language? How do you force a group of people to unlearn a language in 7 minutes?
Is that when they carpet bomb Denver?
The message from Maxx doesn't say, it just says 7 minutes.
Whatever they're building isn't built yet, correct?
No, but it's pretty close.
Maybe if we run it down.
The 7 minutes could be before they're done building it. The 7 minutes could be before somebody carpet bombs this particular neighborhood. That is unclear.
Let's go on the assumption 7 minutes might be before they're done building it. Let's find
Mark.
something a little bit bigger and drive it through it so that they have to start again.
Again, Mark, your particular talent just seems to be considerably more destructive than anybody else's. Do you think you can tear that thing down?
What, like pick it up and hit somebody with it?
I was just thinking walk through the base of it until it falls over. But I'll leave the details to the expert.
I'd rather drive a vehicle through it, especially one that's armor-proof. That's armor-plated.
You have one of those? I think we've got a guy who's.
Yeah.
No, but we could rig this one to explode.
Just make sure you do it over there where the tower is, okay?
Now,
Oh, yeah,
keep in
yeah,
mind there are lots of people.
Yeah. These guys aren't like, in the last place where they were,
Sick.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I would just like to drive a vehicle.
Don't break that tower for me, please.
Or you could fly, if I remember correctly, you could fly through it.
Well, I can jump. I can't fly.
Fly, well, whatever you did.
Jumping probably will get you there quite good. I mean, I've seen how
Then you jump out after you grab it and destroy it or whatever. And
Okay. So the idea is I jump up to the top of it, I grab it, I pick it up out of the ground, I hit somebody with it, and then I jump away.
Or you just pick it up out of the ground and hit something with it so it breaks.
Yeah, don't hit people.
I'll leave the details to you, man. Do what you want to do. You know?
I'm not ready to discount the people as gone yet.
Kill anybody.
I think we need to go.
Does anybody mind?
I mind what? Good.
Does anybody mind if I hit the apartment building with the
I was
tower?
gonna say, if you're gonna hit
That
something,
might be a good idea.
yeah.
Go for
Okay.
distance, man. Why not?
I wish
Okay.
I still had that 11 in the random number generator. Cause
With your spectacular driving roll, you drive around away. You turn left and drive away from the tower they're building, along the apartment building, which is where the epicenter is, and you cut to the right down a little alley which has a bunch of trash cans and dumpsters in it, and pull in just behind the dumpster and back up so the dumpster blocks you from anybody going by at the alley. And then behind you in the rearview mirror, actually no, in the side view mirror, because the rear view you see dumpster, but the side view mirror, which is all that sticks out past the dumpster, you see a bunch of people going by with guns. And again, the way they move is surreal, because they keep like the same distance apart as they're moving, and they don't discuss it. They just do it.
Hey guys, good news and bad news. The good news is they didn't make us see that last left-hand turn. The bad news is they got guns.
We knew that.
Ahead of you, there is a big
Everybody.
zigzag of stairs that go up between, like the apartment building shaped like a U, like a horseshoe, and you are in an alley in the middle, and there's a big stairs going up to the top of it in front of you.
I've got a question for everybody before we implement this plan. These dreams we've been having, are they at all a clue as to how to solve the problem? Because if you think about it, and you and Brandon did mention birds in flight, the dream was you've seen fragments of our grammar in the chaos patterns of bird flocks in flight, in hexagon angles, in the graffiti bleeding together on the wall, in the bioluminescent eyes under your bed, in the Fang City skyline that forms a runic rhyme when glimpsed upside down. A blur becomes syntax, a foreboding scrawl emerges. Could this be a clue?
Possibly.
You tell me it's a little vague for me.
It sounds to me like they're talking about a language.
Well, yes, but right now the source is this apartment. Maybe that scroll is in the apartment. I mean, I've seen magic.
Well, we keep having these dreams.
Yeah, right now we have 6 minutes to solve this problem.
We keep having these dreams, and I'm wondering if they're clues.
Well, let's
solve this problem first, and we can think about that later.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to wait in the car while Mark Savage goes off and destroys the tower?
Well, if I'm hitting this apartment building with the tower, I suggest not being in the middle of it.
Actually, if you could not hit the apartment building with the tower, I'd like to at least go through the apartment building to find out what maybe caused this problem.
Yeah, he's got a point. Hit another apartment building.
Or just hit the floor.
Throw for distance.
Or just destroy it.
See if you can hit the river. You know?
Yeah.
River?
Throw it out of the
There's
area.
the river in Denver.
Take it out of the area.
Out of the area.
Yeah, so they no longer can use it for. If you break it up, they might be able to use parts of it to rebuild.
Right.
Break it. Drop it in the river. We'll search the apartment building.
Yeah, and then and then head straight back here.
Besides that, you've got plenty of movement abilities. So go do your thing, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I wonder if I can hit Buckley from here.
You don't need to be fancy. You really don't.
Yeah, but Buckley
They're in the
Air
parking
Force
lot.
Base is right over on
They're
the other
building
side.
it in the parking lot of 7-Eleven. You can literally just break off the top 12 feet of it and just throw it to the top of the 7-Eleven, and you'll put them back 12 feet worth of tower. So, I mean, you might be overthinking it a little. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
in the end, break it.
Yeah, that's what we're just saying. Just go break it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make part of it disappear.
I'm gonna jump over to it, rip it out of the ground, and then jump north with it.
Or break a top off. It'd be as easy.
Yeah, break it
Okay.
somewhere, and I'll go north with it.
Okay. He gets out of the car and he like it's not something that's instinctive at this yet. I mean, it probably will be someday. But you have to like think about it. Like the best analogy I can think of is you need to pee, but you don't really need to pee right now. Like you have to pee, like it's a urine test or for a doctor or something. So you have to like will yourself to pee.
Right.
It's like that. It's something you can do, but it takes like you have to like okay, give me a second. Okay, and then stuff like erupts out of his skin, and he's basically covered in kind of a dark sapphire blue crystalline material, and he boom jumps into the air, and he's gone. And
That freaks me out every time.
it's a peculiar sensation. It's kind of like tearing off a Band-Aid all over your body at the same time.
Yeah. It's really weird. It freaks me out every single time. That's why I try not to do this too much.
So we're going to leave you for a moment, and we're going to go back to people in the car. You guys going to wait in the car for him, or what? What's your deal?
We decided we wanted to check out the apartment complex.
Hey, this happens to be a set of stairs right here.
Convenient.
Convenient.
I mean, I didn't plan it that way. They kind of make buildings that way.
Yes, exactly.
I used to live in one. So you head up the stairs. You don't know what floor it's on. How are you going to find it? I'm just curious.
Good question, especially since we have like headphones on, and I'm not planning to look for it.
Mm-hmm.
I was assuming that there was going to be something at least a little bit obvious to point it out to us wherever it is.
Oddly enough, there's not.
Really?
Okay. But you can kind of narrow down like where it would be on whatever floor it's on, and you just open a window and go into the hall or go open the fire escape. I mean, you probably have to break windows because they're probably not supposed to be open from the outside. So, and they probably have like cheap little latches. So you break a window, you go in the hallway, you go down, you look in the room. Nothing weird here, and then you do the next floor. By the get to the third floor, it's the third floor because otherwise, you'd be spending like the rest of the day doing this, and that's just stupid. So, on the third floor, you kick open the door, and there's a laptop sitting on a kitchen table, and you can kind of see like stuff happening on the screen, but there's nobody here. There's actually nobody here in the entire building. You don't see another human being in the building.
All right then.
Shut it down.
Yeah, if you shut it down without looking at the screen, I would advise it, or not reading it, or something.
I was just going to hold the power button down for 5 seconds.
Okay, that works.
Not what I thought you were going to do.
Well, that's my character's first natural reaction to seeing any kind of hardware. Is, well, close it down.
Okay. Hold down the power button. Laptop shuts off.
All right. Close the top, stick it in my bag. We may need it later. Look around, see what else is here.
Normal stuff. It's not anything weird.
Okay.
It's just an apartment.
Essentially keep searching the place until something happens, basically, or find out what Savage is doing outside. So
Yeah.
You can look out the window and see what Savage is doing. Because as you look out the window and you see dark blue crystalline guy land on top of what it looks like a makeshift radio tower and starts, I assume, tearing it up. Are you muted?
Donald,
Sorry, what? Yes.
your turn.
Mark Savage.
Okay.
They're looking out the window at you. You land on top of the radio tower. And then do what?
I reach down, pick it up, and rip it out of the ground. See if that works.
Well, you're standing on it, right? Or do you land next to it? You land next to it and do that?
No, I'm like, I land on top of it, I reach down, I grab the stuff under me and see if I can pick it up out of the ground.
That's not how physics normally works. It's like, you're standing on it. So, I mean, you can, like, tear pieces off of it.
And so how about if I jump to halfway up it and grab it?
Sure.
And then try and lever it up over my shoulder.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
totally works. You got a big chunk of antenna. People below you are drifting into patterns, and the patterns like move aside, and another group comes in, and several of them have guns, and they start shooting at you.
I jump north.
Pew! With chunk of antenna.
Yes, my plan is to deposit the antenna in the middle of the wildlife reserve.
Well, what you see is from the window, you guys, is Mark Savage jumps down about halfway down the antenna. He rips off a big chunk of it. Somebody below you, they start shooting him, and from where you guys are 3 stories up, so you can kind of see like the weird patterns of people as well. They part, and then others come in and they start shooting at him, and he jumps away. Pew!
I don't think that turning off the program worked. That's the computer. It might be that that's only how you get infected, not how you get uninfected.
All right, just to make sure, Brandon, I'll go ahead and nuke the computer.
You do what to it?
I said I'll go ahead and nuke the computer. I'll plug an AC adapter that doesn't actually have an adapter part into it into the computer, and then plug it into the wall.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. There's a chance that there's information on the computer you need.
Can we make sure we don't need that before we destroy it, please?
All right.
I mean, you guys are creative. That you may well have a way to fix this without needing the laptop. It's just I just did not think you'd destroy it. It's sort of like introducing the NPC. It's like introducing the NPC who has all the answers, and the PCs kill him.
I just can't recall you doing that in a Champions game once.
I'm sure I've done it more than once.
More than once. All right. I can instead of blowing up the computer, take it apart. Then take the hard drive out.
Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Where was I? I thought I had her already uploaded. Huh. That's weird. Yeah, you pull the hard drive out and you fry everything else. Not a problem.
Okay.
Interesting.
That were the yeah.
Oh my goodness, that would make sense.
What does?
That would make sense. The angle of that photo of Denver we were looking at. I'm still trying to figure out where that angle's from. I think that's an aerial from over the wildlife reserve.
Okay. I just wanted something that wasn't downtown, but wasn't suburbs. It's like so, like it has buildings that are, you know.
Yeah. No, Commerce City
stories.
is a great area for that because it's
Great.
right along the highways.
Okay. Okay, so now what?
But
What are you gonna do?
as I think about where it is, I'm thinking that photo was from the western side of Arsenal Refuge, and so what
Okay.
we were seeing was like southern Commerce City.
All right.
So how are you planning to do anything with that hard drive?
But-
if you fry the rest of the computer.
I'll give you a moment to think about that. While you're thinking about what to do with the hard drive, Mark Savage jumps, lands, jumps, lands, jumps, lands, and each time you land, like pieces of the antenna fall off. By the time you get to wherever it was you were going, you've got, you know, about a shopping cart size worth chunk of antenna, and you can just kind of like
okay.
pull it apart and drop to pieces.
Okay, if it's falling apart that quick, I'll just go ahead at some point and just scatter the rest of the pieces. If nothing else,
Successfully.
it will take them a long time to rebuild, to find these parts. And then I go back to see if I can rip another chunk off.
Bing, 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 bing. When you get back, they are in the middle of building it. They're rebuilding and repairing and dragging stuff up. They have not rebuilt everything you grabbed off. It will probably take a while. Which, at that moment, John Morgan gets another IRC message that says, update, 71 minutes.
That probably tells us how long it's going to take to rebuild. We bought ourselves some time.
No,
You know, you guys aren't nearly as destructive as I thought you would be. Walk back downstairs to the car.
Okay.
Rummage around in the trunk until I find one of the plasma cannons. Then walk back up to the third floor.
It's not going to destroy the bridge.
Open up the window and go ahead and put a couple of shots into the tower.
no, we're in here.
They knew we were here before. Besides that, I'm not moving in. I'm just going to shoot them and walk off.
Okay.
We can stay in the apartment. I don't think they would know we were in the apartment.
Well, they didn't before.
I'm pretty sure they're going to know, but like I said, I don't plan on moving in. I'm not sticking around.
But now they do.
Yeah, we got the computer.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Well, do you want me to drive? I'm not as good a driver as our friend, but I might be able to get us out of here.
Bullets and shotgun pellets start breaking the windows of the apartment. They're on the ground shooting at the third floor, so unless you're within 10 feet of the windows, they are not going to hit you.
Yeah.
But it is most disconcerting.
They know we're here, even though they didn't see us come in here.
And
Yeah, somebody shot the.
holster the plasma cannon and walk back downstairs.
And follow him because we need to now leave.
Mm-hmm. So,
Indeed
how much
you
of the tower was destroyed by the plasma cannon?
Hopefully a
They-
lot of it. These things are destructive as hell.
It kind of like bores holes the size of a trash can lid through the structure. Like that.
Mhm,
So
okay.
it only takes a couple of those before the whole thing just kind of and falls over.
I think you just doubled that time.
Okay, so now let's find someplace, quiet and away from all of the fun and excitement, and start going through the hard drive and finding out what's on it.
Mm-hmm. Just make sure you don't get taken over. Do you want me to get ready to blast an air horn in your ear?
If I start bleeding out of my eyeballs and speaking in tongues, just bash me about the head and shoulders until I stop.
Okay. Or we'll blast Nickelback at you.
Please, I'd rather get hit in the head and shoulders.
I'm sure you could put something else on. Doesn't have to be Nickelback.
Yeah.
When
It could
Mark
be
Savage
Bickleman.
gets back to the tower, it is on the ground, and there are like several large, suspicious melted places in it that you kind of recognize the effect of. And for the most part, the people around it are simply focused on the task of now cutting it apart and building a new tower. But when you show up, the flocks, and it's really like flocks of birds. And again, I want to stress how unnerving it is to see. Like Part and lots of them continue working, and several subflocks get weapons, some of which are firearms, and start shooting at you. When you get there, they were shooting at the building where you don't know they were there. They're shooting at like the third floor windows of the apartment building where the epicenter was. But when you show up, they turn and start shooting at you. All of them.
I assume that they were shooting at the place that just did this. Well, fine, guys. I am going to.
Keep in mind, we can talk to each other, guys. So yeah, we're at the car.
I'm gonna run to the northeast and then loop around after they lose sight of me.
Sounds good.
You're taking like 20-foot steps as you jog.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking rooftop to rooftop.
You can do that. The apartment building itself is the tallest building within several blocks, but most of the other buildings around are still like 3 and 4 stories tall. So you can jump up to the top of one and then run top, and then you're basically not going to be bothered by them because they're all on the ground.
Yeah, and then I
The
loop
bad guys.
around, out of sight, loop around back to the car.
All right, I'm going to say a few bullets like hit you and bounce off, like small arms kind of stuff, like 38s and 22s, that kind of deal. Maybe some shotgun pellets go ping, 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 off of your carapace, but it's minor stuff. So you go to the car. You get to the car about the time everybody else is coming down the steps. There you are, reunion. Yay.
Get us someplace where we can quietly look some things over.
Yep, jump in the car and lose any possible tails.
This is going to be a roll versus roll. So you roll your driving. Oh, when you get in the car and you having it go away is kind of it's way easier than making it come out. So like when you like just relax and go to get in the car, it just like sucks back into your skin without you really thinking about it. Here's a funny thing. When that happens, you're not wearing the headphones that John Morgan gave you anymore. They're gone.
Okay. Anyway, when that happens, I give it a little shake and go, ugh, God, that really freaks me out. What's this? You start me doing that kind of thing, and then you find another solution?
You're
Think
missing
quicker next time.
You're missing your earphones. You might have a problem. Just drive quickly.
Driving quickly.
You back out of the alley, and as you do, you see a flock of people coming down the alley toward you, and you drive off in the other direction. What do you roll? It's going to be a roll versus roll. I rolled for them.
9 plus 3.
Which is 12.
12.
Well, they rolled really, really poorly. So,
wait. We're doing 2d6 here. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, 9 plus 3.
Yeah, you back out and then drive down the other direction away from, like, let's say it's like an H, right? And this street is across the street where they're building the tower, and then there's the alley that you pulled into, and you drove the other way. So you're driving away from the tower and away from the apartment building and away from the crowd of people, and you see people, you pass them on the street for several blocks. They're all busy doing things. But after a couple blocks, you don't see anybody.
Okay.
You have
In the
evaded
meantime,
pursuit.
In the meantime, find out what's on this hard drive.
Let's get past the boring stuff. Apparently, the person who lived in that apartment was really big into SETI at home, and they received a message that was part of a message from outer space, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the last activity on the computer, was them looking at that message.
Oh, God. And that message is probably not safe to look at.
Well, here's the thing. If anybody here can look at it and not be affected, it would be John Morgan. Because of his Agent of Chaos thing. Because this message is all about order. And he's not.
So we probably should all.
And that's like an out of character thing, I'm telling you. But
Okay. Well,
yeah.
when it comes right down to it, Brandon, in character, I look at it anyway.
Maybe not
Awesome.
around us.
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering if we should tell Buckley.
If you should what?
Tell Buckley Air Force Base. The
Why?
Air Force. The
And
Air
then we
Force
try
Base
and
that's
keep
like.
the defender will be carpet bombed.
Yeah, no, the Air Force Base that's like 15 blocks away is the Space Communications Center for National Defense.
But we don't want them infected, and we don't want Denver carpet bombed. Let's try to solve the problem first.
Okay.
I'm not giving that message to anybody
Nope. I think let our friend Morgan look at it and
away from us.
figure out how to undo it.
So,
What's
just
it say?
you guys are being careful not to look over his shoulder. Is that the deal?
Nope.
Headphones are on. I can't hear what
Charlotte
you're doing.
has had two
I
near
know.
misses with this. Two. She might not. Manage a third one. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm going.
Charlotte, back off.
I'm leaving the car. Goodbye. Find us a safe place, and I'm leaving. Tell me when it's safe to come back.
I drop a bunch of pennies into the fingers of a glove, and I stand on the opposite side of the screen from the side that shows anything. And if John Morgan starts bleeding from the eye, I'll make sure it's for a good reason.
funny you should mention that. So John Morgan, roll some dice. See what
Okay.
happens.
12 total.
That is a really good roll. So here's the deal. It hurts your brain to read this message and figure out what it says. And it's not like you need to figure out what it says. It's like it teaches you what it says as you read it.
Mhm.
And Mark Savage, John Morgan do you see like a trickle of blood coming from one of his eyes? Do you break the computer? Do you bean him?
You okay?
Yeah, so far.
Okay,
Okay.
that was in a language I understand. I'm not hitting him.
Yeah, no. He said it in English. He's like frowning and clearly concentrating and looks kind of constipated, but he's
It's an interesting concept. It's a memetic language. Basically, it's the sort of thing that provides its own translation as you're reading it.
How do you undo it? Is the question.
I'm working on that bit.
Well, wipe your eyes.
Or
yeah. You
like
thought
what?
you thought it was just a tear, but it's actually blood.
Utterly disgusting.
You do it again, I may have to hit you.
It is painful. It's kind of like being tortured into believing that 2 + 2 has always been 5.
Right.
So the language describes an alien civilization so perfectly that it like co-opts the mind of somebody who understands it.
Mhm.
And you're looking at this and how complex it is. Probably the civilization that sent this probably had hundreds of years to create this.
Right.
And basically it's all about order
Mhm.
and being part of a seamless whole is all it's about. And by its very nature, kind of like the way a crystal, when grows, it's not like it's aggressive, because that's not really part of the language.
Right.
It's simply that if there's anything that's not part, that is where it grows to.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what's going on with that.
We need to introduce chaos. Sounds like.
What did you roll total?
12. It was actually a 7 plus the 5 for my skill.
Well, 12 was fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll give you something without making you roll a second time, because you rolled really well. You think now just introducing chaos isn't going to be enough. It's like the white noise. It's not enough. It'll kind of like disrupt what's going on, but it doesn't really revert anything. What you need to do is introduce something that counters it, something that
Entropy.
something that reminds people of what it means to be human, that is stronger than this order language that's been imposed on them.
Okay. It's gonna
And
have
then
to be
send
some
that
kind of
signal
emotion.
out and see how that goes.
What's that?
And then send that signal out and see if it works.
It's gonna have to be something that would appeal to base human emotions
Love.
or patriotism or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, love, patriotism,
Baby sounds.
baby
The-
sound. Yeah.
The national anthem.
Cat memes.
sex, beer, and Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah, and the national anthem and a few other things like that.
Just the Monday Night Football.
Children laughing, children talk. Children laughing.
No, the Monday Night Football tune presented by a sexy lady offering wine.
Make an Agent of Chaos roll.
All right. 10 total.
That's good enough. Things like patriotism and football aren't going to work because they're too close to what is actually supposed to be.
Okay.
Baby's crying.
It's gonna have to be something. I think sex is probably the best one I could think of here, or the natural human tendency to screw stuff up.
Sex, money, and power.
No,
Sex, money, and power covered by hubris.
I don't know, Brennan. I read Babel 17 a number of years ago, and as I recall, the solution to that one was to introduce paradox into the language, because the language itself was completely seamless, and really just didn't lend itself at all towards paradox. The language itself was incapable of expressing it. So being able to actually express paradox or just illogic into a completely logical language.
Big
Play
Latin.
a bunch of comedians.
Latin comes to mind.
So, like, wordplay is basically where you're going with this.
Oh,
Or-
puns!
To use its own natural syntax, its own logical syntax to create illogical situations within the language. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
puns.
pretty funny.
Teach the aliens a pun.
Puns wasn't quite where I was going, but yeah, okay. I suppose that would work too.
All right. Make a roll. Sure.
Puns have the advantage that the worse they are, the better they get.
There is that. Rolled a 6 on the dice plus 5, so that'd be 11.
Wow, that is spectacular. That's terrific. So you not only have to think of what you're trying to do, you have to find a way of communicating that perfectly.
Mhm.
And the way this language is written, there's no room for misunderstanding. It's all extremely specific.
Completely unambiguous. Yeah.
So you have to think in that language to express something that the language isn't really designed to express. So as
I
Mark
need to,
Savage,
if I need to, I will go ahead and use my supernatural ability to do this.
that's good idea. So Mark Savage, he's just like copiously bleeding from the eyes now. He's like furiously typing. It's one of those I'm in scenes from cyberpunk, cybercrime music movies. I'm in that kind of thing. He's furiously typing, and he's just like copiously bleeding from the eyes.
Give me some English.
Okay. I'll start reciting something really off the wall, like Rudyard Kipling or something like that.
Jabberwocky.
I was thinking La Nuit Blanche myself. Yes.
Okay.
That's fine. If it as long as it doesn't change into an alien language, I'm not gonna hit him.
He actually has to stop, and I'm not going to make him roll because you spent the point. Otherwise, it would make you roll, and it would be hard, and then Mark Savage would kill you. But
Would beat me over the head and shoulders with a glove full of pennies.
yeah, but you spent the point, so I'm not going to make you roll. So he looks at you, and it's for a minute, Mark Savage. It's like he doesn't understand what you're asking him, and and he has to focus a minute, and then he recite whatever it was you said, Lloyd.
Oh, like I said, just start reciting some sort of just ridiculous poet or poetry.
Yeah.
The one that I was thinking of was Rudyard Kipling's La Nuit Blanche, which is a story about a guy with a really horrible hangover.
Which is appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Introducing Jabberwocky into this perfect language would probably be as good as introducing puns.
Right, exactly.
Meanwhile, let's take a break from those two guys and give other people stuff to do. Ellen and Charlotte. Charlotte, in particular, is staying far away from the computer screen. People with guns are approaching on your position.
Oh, great. Looks like we're defending the fort.
Yeah.
Did I have any of my guns with me? I don't want
I assume so.
And the
Unless
plasma
something
cannon.
catastrophic has happened, I assume everybody's got their whatever equipment they need to use their aspects. That's just the way the systems works, unless something weird has gone on.
As much as I hate doing it, we may have to shoot to kill.
Okay, well, first off, where are we? Are we like, is there a road, like, and the buildings?
You are in the parking lot of a Jiffy Lube. There's like a car on either side of you, and you're parked between them off the street in a parking lot next to a Jiffy Lube. And the whole area is more or less abandoned. But you see coming into view a clump of, let's say, how many people? 4. It's only 4. So it's not a big deal. And they come, and they all have either rifles or shotguns.
But
and they're moving sideways. And they see you, and they turn and they come toward you.
Yeah, okay, but they're down a street from us?
Uh-huh.
There's a
Now,
street.
question,
You're in the parking lot of a building that's on that street.
where are Morgan and Mark?
I'm trying to get an idea of this because I'm trying to do something. I don't want to just blindly shoot people. I want to ask for information of locations so I can actually maybe do something, environmental.
Okay, one moment.
Because she keeps
Lloyd's
talking
not here, so Donald, would you guys be working? Well, Charlotte wanted to stay away from the laptop, so how about you guys go into the Jiffy Lube?
I'm
Into
saying,
this?
Are they still in the car? Are they still in the car? Or are they in the Jiffy Lube?
Donald, would you guys go in the Jiffy Lube or you stay in the car? What do you want to do? Donald?
Donald.
I don't hear
Donald,
Donald.
turn your sound on, please.
We'll be in the Jiffy Lube.
Okay, so Charlotte, Donald, and Mark Savage and John Morgan are in the Jiffy Lube waiting room using their Wi-Fi access and plugged in there and doing their thing that you wanted to be nowhere near. So, that being said, where would you be?
I'd probably be outside keeping watch because I don't want people I don't want to wait till people are upon us to attack us.
Makes sense.
I want to know, if it's down the street so I can actually do something about it.
Makes sense. So you're out closer toward the edge of where the street is, like the sidewalk. Maybe kind of half taking cover behind a minivan, and you see down the block people coming toward you.
All right, so but there's they would have to go all the way around a block and majorly go out of their way to.
No. It's a street, and
I know.
you're looking down it, and they turn a corner and they're coming toward you.
All right, so if I were to block said street, they would have to make a big roundabout.
That makes sense. Sure.
Okay. Hey, this worked pretty well last time. Wall of ice.
Cool. It's been a weird point.
All right.
And then roll 2d6. Tell me how big your wall of ice. To tell me how big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time we should try a wall of Jello.
Like, walk through that.
Maybe I should go to the doctor.
I rolled a 10 plus 4, 14.
Oh wow! Good God. Okay.
I want it to be tall and all the way across.
There's impressive, and then there's Charlotte.
Yeah,
So
it's to make up for the snake eyes earlier.
Yeah.
And fog kind of flows toward the street between you and the people coming toward you. And about that point, they see you, and they start moving faster toward you. And then the fog kind of flows up into a wall, and then there's a snap, and then the fog kind of falls away, and leaving a 3-foot thick, 20-foot tall wall of ice that goes from that building all the way across the street to that building. And you can't see them anymore. It's, ice is pretty. It looks kind of clear, but it's not.
Charlotte, I think I'm going to do some patrolling and make sure there aren't any more of these wandering band of critters around. So
right.
maybe lead them off.
I'll give the boys a heads up.
Okay. I'm going to turn into a wolf and start prowling around. See how long it's going to take them to walk around now that wall is there, and try to figure out where they'll be coming from. Make sure there are no others.
Well, they'd have to go back. You scout out for a bit and look down alleyways and stuff. You don't want to get too close because if they talk to you, they might infect you. But you snoop around and scout around, and you find out they'd have to like backtrack and then go through an alleyway behind a building and then up
Okay.
the next street and then over. It was an effective barricade. It'll delay them a good 10,
Okay,
15
good.
minutes.
And there's
at
no
least.
others. There's no others in this area.
Not here, no. Apparently, they're pretty much clustered around where the antennas are.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna bang on the door because Mark doesn't have headphones on anymore, and also and I don't want they'll turn on the headphones like, hey guys, 10 to 15 minutes we probably a top before they make it around the block. But I managed to but we've got incoming.
Okay, so John Morgan would hear that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mark Savage is not wearing headphones. However, you're sitting there ready to bean John Morgan with a glove full of pennies, and you get a weird sensation, like a tickling behind your ear, and then like your ear pops, and you hear Charlotte say, guys, yeah, just letting you know, there's some guys who came up, and whatever it was you said, Karen.
Yeah.
So that was weird. Repeat what you said, because I've forgotten what it was.
I was like, guys, you've got about 10 or 15 minutes before we're gonna have company. I've managed to block them off, but they're in one direction, but they can make it around. They're coming around the block for us.
Okay, cool.
How long do I figure I'll need?
You're nearly there.
In other words, Morgan, that means hurry.
2 minutes and we're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and, I guess, roll some dice, see if you succeed or you need to keep working.
All right.
If you roll badly, then you get attacked between now and the next roll.
Somebody turn the car on and have it idling.
I'm rolling incredibly average. I rolled another 6, so that's an 11 total.
11 what you need. So, you have your message. You think you've crafted it perfectly. But here's the deal. You need some way to get them to hear it or see it.
We were doing that.
No, you have the message,
Right.
Yeah.
but how are they going to see it or hear it? They don't
Play
grow
it-
radio receivers. You can't just like
Play it
broadcast
through
it
the
to them.
speakers on the car.
What?
Like we were blasting noise out of this car earlier.
Yes, you
We
were.
can blast it if we.
I assume we still have that set up because
Yeah.
why would we take it down?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we could try that.
Yeah.
This group coming in becomes our test group. If it works, we drive through the middle of them.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead and while they're still working on it, hop in. I'm assuming he left the keys in the car.
Yeah.
We'll just fast forward through that. You start the car. Who's got the keys? I don't know. I thought you had the keys. Where's the keys? Mark, didn't you have the keys? I gave them to John. Anyway, you start the car. Boom, 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 boom. You're ready to go. And for some reason, this whole time I've been picturing this as like a Jeep Cherokee. I don't know why, but I'm just going to say this is a Jeep Cherokee. That's what you got. You're stuck with
Okay.
it.
My brain, it was a Ford Taurus, but
Well, you had the
Jeep
whole
Cherokee.
back full of speaker boxes, so it had to have some cargo room in the back. So
Figuring something had a little room to,
there you go.
elbow room around.
I was just figuring we took the rear trunk lid off.
Okay, so what are you doing now?
Finding a test subject.
Okay, Alan and Charlotte, when Mark and John come out of the Jiffy Lube, Mark looks the way Mark always looks, and John is bleeding from the eyes, carrying a laptop.
I know. I've looked better.
Good, Yeah.
Yep.
good news, folks. I didn't have to bean him.
It looks like he got bloodied enough all by himself. I understand.
So you need
And-
to drive. You're driving around looking for like a clump of people that are isolated.
Yes.
Oh, well, there's this group that's kind of coming in on us. How about we just drive toward them?
Well,
No looking.
you don't
and-
really know which way they're going to come from because where they were coming from is blocked by a 20-foot tall, 3-foot thick wall of ice.
So find another bunch.
You find another bunch. You drive around,
the
it's not a
block
big deal.
the other direction.
You'll eventually drive around. You find another bunch. You
10
see a bunch of
minutes.
people there carrying spools of wire. Let's say
Yeah.
There are 9 of. Oh wow, it's a big group. And again, the way they move is unnerving because it's
I
like a
hope
clump
this
of them
works.
all, and it's not like they're marching in step. It's not anything that simple. They're simply weirdly organized the way they move. It's unsettling.
Okay.
So, do you think this signal's going to hurt anybody who's not already infected by the meme?
Well, I'm not
Well,
particularly
there's
worried
only
about it.
one way to find out.
We're pretty well protected, so.
Headphones on.
Okay, so you fired up.
Yep.
And the noise canceling headphones don't cancel 100%. So you're vaguely aware that there's something, noise, sounds, language going on outside, and the 9 people come toward, look at you, and at the exact same time, their eyeballs like roll back in their head, and they go clunk clunk. They collapse.
I guess we should probably send a doctor to go look at him.
Yeah, are you trying to suggest something over there?
Nope, not at all.
That was interesting.
Yeah, Doc, you gonna jump out and check them?
How about we roll closer and I will look from afar?
Okay, I try not to run over any of them on the way.
Well, you had to be within. Well, I mean, they are really loud speakers, so I guess you could be like 30, 40 feet away if you wanted to be.
All right.
So I try not to hit any when I roll up beside them.
Okay, they're laying there. They're not twitching or struggling or frothing at the mouth. They're just laying there, like asleep.
Okay, breathing.
Breathing is normal.
There, okay, yep. All right. They're breathing.
Do you want to do what you did before and reach out to their minds and see what's going on? If they're still infected, it might hit you because you've escaped that twice. But that would be a 100% way to find out if what you did
Get
worked.
the stock full of pennies ready again.
Yeah, we now have the noise generator. We can bring her out that way.
Presuming it worked the first time, you're currently playing it.
Continue
Well,
playing.
I'd kind of like to know if we're erasing their minds or anything like that. Yeah.
All right. I will attempt to check them out. All right. If you're ready, sock me. Eight.
Total?
Oh.
Wow. All right. It's unnerving. Well, I've used this word a lot, but it is. However, it's not the same thing you hit before. What you get is confusion, like a very surreal nightmare kind of thing. Like they're having a nightmare. That's basically how that works.
So they're asleep, basically, and having a nightmare. If you guys want to roll around and start cleaning out the place, I'll stay with these and wait till they wake up and find out if they're okay. Maybe do a patrol.
Well, let's get an expert's opinion on this here. Doc, what do you think? What's happened to them?
They're in a nightmare, but they're no longer doing the whole language thing, right?
Right.
I know another way to make sure. Wake them up. Wake somebody up.
Can I wake them up? At this point, since I'll get out the car, since they're clearly not.
Do you have any, what is that stuff? Nitrous you wave under a person's nose?
Smelling salts?
Smelling salts, yeah.
I'm sure I've got something in the first aid kit.
That should work. That should wake somebody up.
Oh, yeah, ammonia capsules? Yeah. Like a cat pissed up your nose.
If they're out of it, they'll wake up confused and wondering why they're not at home or wherever they were when they blacked out.
I'm only waking up one of them.
Yeah.
It's better to get them all awake and get them out of the area, I guess. So wake them up. See if we'll try one of them at least. If they don't wake up, then they'll hopefully wake up once all this is done.
There you go. I did a Google for random person. So
Was the person
this,
very random?
I think it'll work. This you wake up this random person who looks like this, and he looks up at you, and he's like looks around, and he says, What happened? Where am I? Who are you?
Uh,
Why?
Mass hallucination. Don't have time to explain. It's CDC. Get the hell out of here.
Well,
What?
actually, no,
Where
do
the
it in
hell-
orderly fashion.
Yeah.
Is this
Actually-
August Street? I live like 8 blocks from here. Why am I here?
I'll try and sell him insurance.
Actually,
Excuse
I
me,
would
sir. Have you ever considered?
suggest you take your friends into that store over there and wait things out. There's been a slight, I guess, as the doctor says, a mass hallucination probably caused by something that got into the air. And we are from the CDC, or she's from the CDC. So if you would help me get these people indoors and stay there for the time being, please.
Well,
And
you
avoid
seem
the color orange.
well, you seem official, so I guess I'll do what you say.
Mhm. Just go inside and stay there. Somebody will come by later and talk to you and debrief you.
Okay. Just wanders over to the mattress discounter store and goes inside.
Let's get the rest of them inside too, because better not leave them on the street.
Yeah.
You drag him or you wake him up?
Wake them up.
Wake him up.
Yeah, they're all basically like him. They don't know how they got here or what's going on.
Just get them inside. Tell them to wait there. They'll be debriefed later.
At least one of there were 9 of them. At least one of them would be like, wait a minute. I know my rights. Who the hell are you people?
Fine, whatever. I don't have time for you. Either stay where it's safe or stay out here where it's not safe. Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here, but not because you said so. So then what do you do?
Whatever you do, don't call your mother. All right, let's go see if we can correct the rest of this problem.
You drive around. You occasionally encounter other clumps of people.
Blast them, whatever that noise is.
Same
Start
effect.
singing along with it. It's Christmas at Ground Zero or something. Like that.
Fire bombs in the air, sleigh bells ringing and sirens are singing and fallouts everywhere.
And Alan is probably quoting Jabberwocky.
Well, whatever is actually being transmitted is in that alien language, so it's not like you can actually understand
We
it.
can't hear anyways. I'm just being obnoxious because that's
Okay.
what they can hear.
Yeah, the scary thing is Mark Savage actually knows the words to that song and sings it.
And
When
I
you
said,
pass people and
Alan
you
is
play your-
probably quoting Jabberwocky.
Okay. Fast forward a bit. What do you do? What happens next?
We are going to try and knock everybody else out. We're going to the tower.
Okay. When you get there, people start coming toward you, and then when they hear your thing, their eyeballs roll back in their head and they collapse. And it's kind of anticlimactic, but that's what happens.
I'll update Max again too.
Seems to work.
All right.
And add something along the lines of, please tell me they're not going to carpet bomb the area.
That would
Uh,
be nice.
You get a question back. Infection treated? Question mark.
Send her a synopsis of what we've done and what the effect is. Yes.
And tell her what caused it in the first place.
Don't send her the file that has it in it, though.
Maybe we should shut SETI down till future.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
You get a message back saying, understood, destroy message.
Okay.
Really? Think.
But indicate to her in the email that I sent that that we found an antidote for it, essentially, and what the antidote is.
Do you send that to, or you just say that you have it?
No, indicate what we that we have it and what it basically what the gist of it is. So how to just introducing disorder into the order of the language.
Okay.
But not actually send it. No, I wouldn't send it.
No, not without extra payment.
Funny you should mention that.
When it turns to be that this whole society just tried to invade us with order, I would almost think we should send our chaos back to them.
Oh, sending it back? Yes, hell yeah, that'd be fun. No, I mean, don't. Yeah, unless.
If any of those characters there actually know how study at home works, that signal that was received was probably sent like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. So
Yeah.
the chances of sending it back as like a counterstrike are kind of pointless.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if more than one SETI person at home heard this.
Well, that's a good question.
They
Anyway,
might
but speaking of payment,
That's why it would be worth extra for them to get this answer.
Oh,
so what did John Morgan put tape over on his laptop?
Oh, the lens for the video.
not the
And
LEDs
was it-
though.
Was it medical tape?
Yes, it was just regular white medical tape. It's what
Okay.
Colin had.
Underneath the medical tape, you can see the ding of the LED comes on, and the LEDs at the front of the laptop, where the hard drive activity and numlock LEDs are, start going and get really bright again.
Well, okay.
Did you do anything fun?
yank the tape off.
It takes several seconds for the whole thing to like power up, and then you see the hologram again being beamed from the LEDs at the front of the laptop.
That's a really neat effect, by the way. I like that.
Thanks. It sounds like you solved everything. We show everybody within a 6-block radius down. Hopefully you got everybody. If you don't mind, I'm going to forward you a grid. Drive through that grid with your message playing, and that should reach everybody who might possibly
Yeah.
still be infected.
Right.
Okay.
After that, let us know how you want to be paid. You'll be paid. I assume Commander Drunkbat will do your normal channels.
Yes, we can do that.
I can't see Commander Brennan. Is he here? Is he there?
I'm there, here, don't worry.
I can only see what the camera sees. Okay, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Gee,
Like
Brennan.
Commander Brennan's like in the front seat, and she's
Right.
facing toward the back. So,
Yeah, Commander Brennan's behind you. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Synergy says that there's something you might appreciate more than normal payment. Do you want information, or do you want the normal payment?
I want the information.
Okay. Is it okay if I send it to Commander Drunkbat?
Yes.
All right.
What was, I mean, who is she asking me to send it to?
Me.
What?
Me.
Okay.
I'm Commander Drunkbat.
Please send it to my friend here.
Will do.
Max, when it comes right down to it, money isn't really much of an object for me either.
I know.
There is certain information that you might have that I wouldn't mind exchanging with you.
Like what?
Information concerning the higher up workings of the Illuminati and the other major groups.
Don't waste your time. I mean,
It
if you
gives
want it,
something to do and-
if you want it, I'll send it to you. But I personally don't think you should waste your time. Your time's more valuable than that.
but it gives me something to do when I'm bored.
Fair enough.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the Illuminati. It could be the Orochi group too, or pretty much any other organization that desperately needs someone to screw with them.
I've got that information right here.
The National Geographic article on secret societies. There you go.
we know you don't need the money, so
Just remember, everybody, be nice to the lizards. The Silurians were here before us.
we know you don't need the money,
Correct.
but we got to give you something. If you want info on upper level Illuminati, that'll work.
Or upper level U.S. government secret societies and conspiracies too. That'd be cool.
They matter even less than the Illuminati does. But
I
if
know.
that's how you want to spend your time,
But this Peter Brett guy pissed me off, so I wanted to find out more about him.
Black Book.
Yeah, National Defense Directorate.
Okay, that's different.
Sorry, I thought that was the government conspiracy. Right?
This magazine does have the Illuminati.
That's how you can tell they're a secret society because the National Defense you say
Oh,
they're that secret.
are you in a place where you can talk? No, hang on. Synergy says
We're in
you're
the
still
car.
in Denver.
We're
When you're-
driving a grid in a car.
Right, that's right. I'm sorry. She wouldn't have asked that because she knows, because she just told you that. Never mind. She doesn't say that. What she does say says, okay, this isn't really the time or place, but when you guys are somewhere you can talk, we'll talk. Okay?
Sounds good.
Great. And again, good job. You saved like 350 people's lives, at least, and probably another 2,000 in, collateral damage. Yeah. Well done.
Excellent.
I'm assuming the information she sent me is who betrayed my team.
What she sends you is a series of encrypted communications between various high-level people in MI13. It'll take you a bit to decipher it. I mean, deciphering it is not... I don't mean literally... Wait, one moment. I don't mean literally decipher it. You have the codes that are required to decipher it. What I mean is read it all and understand what it means. That's what I mean.
Okay. Well, that I'll leave for my friend here. That would help.
No, it's you, because it's all like political stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
And a lot of it's like implied.
mhm.
Like they're talking around things.
Okay. We'll spend some time on dealing with this, and then
Sounds like a
we'll
plan.
go back to England and deal with the betrayers.
Charlotte's bank account gets $2,000 deposited. Ching.
Whoa.
Mark Savage, do you have an active bank account still?
I think he's frozen.
Oh, Donald, are you frozen?
Donald. Yep.
He's frozen.
He's frozen.
I thought he was being suspiciously quiet. Oh, that's a bummer.
I'm
Anyway.
sure he does. It doesn't seem like he's actually done anything with his life before after he left.
Alrighty. Well, if he has any questions that haven't been dealt with, we'll deal with that later. John Morgan, you get a packet of information that is not as directly useful as what Alan Brennan gets. What he gets is pretty much the emails leading up to his team being declared, and there's like a code for it in the UK Secret Service world, but essentially it means like kill them all. Is what
They've been burned. Yeah.
burned, yeah. There's whatever, but there's like a really official English code for it. But there's like a chain of emails and communications and a couple of recorded telephone conversations that lead up to that. And that's what Alan Brennan gets. So it's like all directly useful,
Right.
although you have to actually kind of puzzle out what people mean and what they're implying until you get to like the actual thing. Because the people who, here's the thing.
It's like listening to mafia conversations.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The person who actually gave the order isn't the person who's at fault, because they're actually taking an order from somebody else.
Yeah,
They were just doing their job, like you've done.
So we have to follow the chain back to the person who originally gave the top order.
Right. That's where that's
Now, in
That's what you got.
any of these conversations, anything recent that would let me know whether they know I'm still alive?
No, these are all from before you met any of these other crazy people.
Okay.
No, actually, that's not true. It's not before you met them, because you actually met them once before you were burned.
And
'Cause
we
you-
interrogate, and we were interrogated. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Jokingly.
yeah.
Not-
MI13 abducted and interrogated all of them. Not in a mean way. It's actually very polite, but it's actually very, nice, polite interrogation. And then you let them go.
Mhm.
So it was between that and when you actually got burned. That's when these messages are.
Okay.
Oh, and what John Morgan gets is more obtuse. It's radio transmissions and receipts for gasoline and shipping manifests, and they don't seem to tie together really in many sensible ways. Except sometimes the addresses overlap. Like this happens here, this happens there, this happens there, this happens there. But you do get a couple of incidents in Pueblo from 3 days ago, 4 days ago, whatever, how long it was, that that gas was purchased with a government credit card, and with that same credit card, there's a whole bunch of fast food bought at this place, and so it's like that kind of stuff. It's more like finding people through the shadows they cast rather than actually seeing them.
Their paper trail. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in Pueblo, and there's like 3 or 4 other cities that have that same kind of thing.
Okay.
Not super helpful, but, you can make something of it later.
Yes.
Still no Donald. No messages from him. All right. You drive your grid. As far as you know, you've caught everybody, and you don't see another waking person who was infected. And you complete the whole thing, and as far as you know, you're done. Now what?
Well,
Conveniently.
do we want to investigate the possibility that somebody else has a private set up and go make sure they haven't started the same thing?
Well, I think that's why we went through that grid.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not talking in just in Denver. I'm talking anywhere in the world. Somebody could have a SETI thing going. And we should set, I'm hoping she's shutting down SETI in this country. Because anybody could have picked it up, including the big Kahuna.
We're going to say, for sake of ease of dealing with things, that, okay, the way SETI at home works is it takes pieces of signals and spreads them around. So we're going to say that if somebody else got pieces of that same message, that somebody knows how to counter that now, and it won't be an issue that you need to deal with.
Okay, sounds good.
If nothing else, they can just introduce noise into the app itself. That'll cause the virus to not work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they basically can insert what the noise program, the sound you created.
Yeah, the nonsense program.
The
Yeah.
nonsense program, yeah.
Yeah, if somebody were to read all of that in one sitting, it'd probably give them a splitting headache, but that would be it.
Okay.
Maybe nightmares.
Yeah.
So you're done. You drive back out through the police barricade, and the police stop you at the barricade, and they shine flashlights in your eyes, and they shine them at Mark Savage, who I assume has wiped his blood off his face by now, but his eyes are still kind of bloodshot. He's like, "You okay back there?"
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay, Dr. Day, everything fine here? We all good?
Yes.
We got a
well,
message saying that you dealt with the bioterrorists and you're taking the samples out. Is that? Do you
That
need
is
anything from us? You need an escort to the airport? Anything like that?
good.
I
Wait,
I would let them know about all those confused people that they may want to get home.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of civilians out already out there. I've already looked at all of them, but they do seem a bit confused, but they don't seem to be infected. So.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of ambulances standing by for you're okay to let them in.
All right, guys. Yeah, we should be fine on our own. You guys take care of this mess.
All right, thank you. And he gestures to somebody else, and they clear the barricade, and you can go.
I'm just not thinking fast enough. I could not think of a single thing to do to screw with the police. I was thinking about getting like a motorcade escort to the airport, but then I couldn't figure out what to do once we got to the airport.
Exactly. That's why I didn't do it.
Also, it would be nice to let them help the civilians.
It's like,
Yeah,
let's
all right.
be undercover. We got it. Come on, like no.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no. Let's not make it. I was like, if they bus is like, no. Let's not make me an obvious target here. So, yeah. Move along.
We are completely Donald-less now.
Yeah.
God, is that
We may need to be Leslie-less because I got to get up early tomorrow and go to work.
Okay, do you want to wrap this up? What do you do?
Yeah, I need to go to bed.
Since we're in Denver, find another expensive hotel and hole up. I want to go over the information that I've got, and I think
I'd like to go over mine as well.
yeah, you need to go over your information too, so that we can formulate a plan.
Yep.
Will be a plan so cunning. If it had ears, it would be a week.
Okay. Do you want to wrap it up there?
Yeah. That's apparently the dog kicked the router plug from the wall.
All right.
They need to dog proof that.
So I keep mine on a shelf. Okay. Wait. Haha. This has been Conspiracy Theory with Donald Von Griffin, who's not here anymore because his dog ate his router. Kieran Torres. Leslie Danneberger. Lloyd Montgomery.
Cat for once to
And
not.
what?
See who's cat for once to not eat his router.
And me, GM Brandon Blackmore. Yeah, if you get junk mail from outer space, don't read it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You guys have a good night.
Good night, everybody.